Hello. Hello, and welcome back. I'm Derek, as usual. Um, let's get into it. So, the past couple videos, I've been talking about my equipment and some things about being a photographer. But today, I wanted to talk more about my previous work, or my works, my portfolio, pretty much. I won't be showing anything I've been shooting recently because that's not really for public consumption. Um, and most of all this will be from my freelance days. So I'll probably just do screen thing. Yeah, cool. So we got my website portfolio on the screen. So I'm just gonna go through a few of them. Can kind of go through the story behind each shot, or kind of like what I did to get each shot. So I'm going to focus more on things I shot: cars, products. I'm not really going to go into like events and stuff like that, because you can't really control events as much. So it's a little bit of a wasted thing, whatever to talk about. Main page. Let's start with that first one. So. These two pictures, they were shot for two of my friends. They both had the same car around the same time, just in different colors. So they were car twins. So Ruben and Tony, it's to you. And yeah, so this one was really just for fun. Near where I used to live, there was this long stretch of road around some warehouses, and it's on weekends. There's no one on that street, so it was really smooth. It was a long straight road. So we decided to take our cars out, and this was when I had an SUV. So shooting with an SUV, you're a little bit more, in terms of like vibrations, you're a little bit more stable than a car that's lowered like these two cars. So for this first one, pretty simple. I had my 5D Mark III at the time. I used a 17 to 40 millimeter f4. Pretty much, I had a Land Cruiser, and so the tailgate came like flat, and I hung out the back of the tailgate. For safety measures, I wrapped my ankles with the back seat belts, so just in case anything happened, like at least I had seat belts to kind of hold my legs and hold me in the car, just in case I don't know, something happened. So we shot this around, I think, 40 to 45 miles per hour, because since I didn't have a rig, it was all handheld, so it wasn't as stable. So I needed a decently fast shutter speed, but not fast enough to where I can't get any kind of motion blur. So if you can see from the corners, that's blurred out, and that's exactly what I wanted. And then quick enough to where my unsteady hands can that shutter speed can compensate for those hands. Luckily, headlights, emblem, the front grille is pretty sharp. I purposely blacked out his face because I don't think he wants his face to be like front and center. So yeah, hung upside down from the SUV, just took a few shots. And then same thing with this one, but this one was from the back seat rear window, so no hanging out of the tailgate, so a little bit more safe. For post-processing for these two, what I ended up doing was I would take certain colors that I noticed on the car. They're black and white, so there is a lack of color, and so I wanted the background to reflect that. But since this one, he had the amber turn signals in the front. This guy, he had kind of this bronze goldish kind of wheels, so I wanted those to stick out more. So I took out all colors except for those, and kind of muted them a little bit so they weren't just in your face. That was kind of the approach for these. That's about it. I mean, this was one of the more fun ones because there's a little bit of a danger aspect to the whole thing. But let's move on to the next one. Food. I did food for a little bit. This was for a local franchise of Korean barbecue, and they're working on a new menu. So luckily I had a creative director work with me, and so I was really just there to do photography, get the lighting right, and kind of fit what they needed. So this was pretty straightforward. Luckily, I mean, the dish itself already looks pretty, so that helps a lot. And we were kind of on our own in terms of how it looked. There wasn't really a food stylist, so whatever the kitchen came out, we would adjust whatever we could. So that's why you would kind of see a stray sesame seed right there, or I'm not particularly fond about this particular leaf right here, but it was relatively low budget. And so pretty much off to the right hand side, I had a strip softbox, and then I had a round reflector on this other side. And you know, honestly for food photography, like if you want like really basic shots that look good, you know, just have a light source that's bigger than the plate. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, bigger than the plate, and then you know you should get a pretty nice even light across. Yeah, you know, this is one of my favorite food shots to date. Let's move on to the next one. This one was during my freelance days. So they sold these Bluetooth speakers, and when I saw they had in different colors, and I really wanted to you know, hone in on that. So I went ahead and did some contrasting colors. As you can notice, it's blue and the background is yellow. Well, I mean, obviously you can see. You guys aren't blind. And I really wanted to show like the edges, like, you know, how the edges are kind of curved. So I made sure this was more of a composite photo. So there were maybe like maybe 3 shots at most. This was maybe like 6 years ago. So, you know, there's one to kind of, you make sure the background's a little bit even. I didn't want it to be just one solid yellow. So as you can see, there's a slight gradient from the right to the left. So, you know, it feels like it's in the actual space. If it's like completely one solid color, it won't feel like as real. And then, so I had a strip softbox kind of get this little edge light right here. And I also had one kind of towards the rear of the speaker, kind of coming in, kind of fill in these parts. And then I think I took a square one, but you know, I guess I didn't really include it in the end, the final composite. But there was a square softbox right here, and then I took that same strip softbox and did the front as well, because it is more of a rectangular shape. So you know, I wanted the light to kind of fit that shape as well, so it's nice and even across the length. And the next one, okay, so portraits. So this is my roommate. Actually, let me bring him in here. Alright, so this is my roommate slash coworker. As you can see, yeah, it's come on in, it's fine. It really doesn't need your face. If anything, I'll just cut it out wherever you don't. This is him in this photo. Sans and mustache. I mean, it's kind of growing back already.
Gotta miss that stash.
But it was pretty much just a random photo shoot we had at late night at work. We were just like hanging out. So that's
We were like testing out like what experimented with lighting and.
Yeah, we were working on some campaigns, and we wanted to test like, you know, what would look good. And so we're like, what better way to test it out than on ourselves? And so we did just that.
Yeah.
Alright. So let's get into kind of how we shot this one. As you can see, there's a light in the back of its head. This was maybe about like, I guess like 7-8 feet up. It had a green and slightly turquoise gel on the reflector. And so, you know, it gave him that nice separation because the background was a solid black seamless paper. So, you know, we didn't want him to like blend into the back. And then, so, you know, in front of his face, you know, a little higher was an octa. And then I also had a reflector, but it wasn't too close to his face because I don't really like that light coming from the bottom of your face. It just looks menacing. I know a lot of like portraits, like, you know, like actions, like they have like, you know, that reflect on the bottom, but I just feel like it looks tacky, and then I'm not a fan of that. I lowered it a good amount, so, you know, you still had nice shadows. I wanted to look gritty. And a little bit more edgy, and so, like, you know, you really do need those shadows to be present. And then that was pretty much it. And yeah, you know, that's just some images that I shot. This one was actually more recent, but like I'm willing to show this one because it was just us, you know, screwing around, just testing stuff out. It wasn't like, you know, official work. It was more like research for work. And I think we'll just stop it here. I mean, these are just some images I've shot. I didn't want to go through my entire portfolio. If you want, there's this website that you can go to. It doesn't have everything, but it has just like some stuff. I don't know. I'm really bad at like the upkeep for this website. I'm trying. I really am, but not really. And that is it. Thanks for sticking through the video. Hopefully, some of these images can give you guys some inspiration, some ideas, Feel free to, if you hate the images, let me know. I mean, if you hate them, what can I do? They've already been shot. They exist. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, and hopefully see you next week. Probably. I'm gonna try and stay on a consistent schedule and post every Wednesday if I can. So, yeah.